Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today we are watching Desert Fox 51 in the Scharnhorst, the Tier 7 German premium battleship. It is on the map Two Brothers and it's a standard battle. Now it's a Tier 7 battle, so pretty nice matchmaking, especially considering how many Tier 5s there are around. There is no carrier and there are 3 enemy destroyers. Here in the beginning we can see a friendly destroyer going towards the center. The destroyer announced that he was going to defend the center, so he isn't willing to push through. Now this is not a good choice in general, because there is no scouting information from the enemy. We don't know if there is an enemy pushing through the center. And Desert Fox here just... not a bit frustrated, I suppose, because he wants the friendly destroyer to go scout, and the friendly destroyer here is going towards the zone wall for no apparent reason. But anyway, as I was saying, you don't want to sit here in the center and defend. If no enemy pushes through this channel, this destroyer is basically doing nothing and the friendly team is playing with one less ship. So, while it's a good thing if enemies actually come, right? First you need scouting information, you need to know that enemies come before you commit to sitting in this channel. Which means that there is no destroyer scouting on the right flank, and yes, here on the left flank the other destroyer is, well, taking a sneak into. Now on the bright side, a friendly destroyer here sitting in smoke is spotted, probably because an Atlanta is using radar, I suppose. And the enemy destroyer for some reason didn't even try to move out of the way. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe just close his eyes and pray it goes away. But, well, good for the friendly team. One enemy destroyer down. But there is a lot of smoke there, and this means there is not a lot of scouting information going. We actually can only see a couple of ships on the right flank. We can see almost nothing on the left flank, and there were some ships pointing towards the channel, but we still don't know if they're actually going to commit in there. It's likely that this Congo is trying, but you never know. And meanwhile that Schneffen is sitting there now, it would be actually good if the enemies come through this channel, because there's a friendly destroyer waiting. But currently this friendly destroyer is, well, doing nothing. And Desert Fox here is just going around here in circles, because honestly he can't do an awful lot. You really don't want to push in if you don't know all that much what the enemy is having over there. And so smoke is finally clearing. The friendly Mahan is still somewhat behind an island, so the scouting information here is limited. And if there are really only an Atlanta, and Nicholas and the König here, then the friendly team could push with those forces, but meanwhile the enemy is already kind of closing in on the cap, so you don't wanna be too far away from your own cap, I suppose. And really there are friendly forces here going even closer to the zone wall. There isn't really any reason to ever be here on the one line. You wanna fight here more closer to this big island, where you have a faster way to either push or defend, basically where you can easier react to the flow of the battle. And the enemy Atlanta is in some trouble. Hopefully a friendly team can sink her, but no, he is dropping into concealment. There is also a cyclone incoming. Will still take a little bit of time until the cyclone is here, but something to prepare for. And well, yeah, we now actually see that enemy ships are coming through the center, so the friendly destroyer wasn't useless in the center, but for a very long time he was just doing nothing and sitting there, and it was just a big gamble that enemies would actually come. And still, if he would defend it on the friendly side here, it would have been better, because he would have had more support. And you see the Daphne got sunk, and I don't think he even managed to sink an enemy. So anyway, Desert Fox is now turning around. It's time to defend the cap. The enemies are emerging from this channel, and while there are a few defenders still here, the right flank is completely lost. and there will be a lot of ships pushing the cap now. So, I mean, the friendly team is behind quite a bit. Best he can do now is try to hold the cap and hope that the cyclone can help fix everything. Because during a cyclone, superior numbers don't mean as much. Because if the ships aren't close enough together, they still have to engage one at a time. And there are some nice shells at the Congo. Secondaries are opening up. The Congo would now also be in torpedo range, but still there is a friendly König between him and the enemy. And this means yeah, I don't think he needs torpedoes here. The next salvo might deal with the Congo, although Congo is healing. Yep, nicely done. So one less Congo. Next target coming this way is a Scharnhorst. And the Scharnhorst is outside of torpedo range, but the Scharnhorst is coming in this direction, so if he launches torpedoes now, there's a chance that the Scharnhorst will sail into them. There would also be an argument for keeping the torpedoes back, but by the time the Scharnhorst gets a lot closer, the torpedoes might be reloaded. He can also use the torpedoes on his other side. And Desert Fox is now sailing away from the enemy Scharnhorst. This was for two reasons. One, there is a cyclone, so if he keeps the distance to the enemy reinforcements, he only has to engage the Scharnhorst and not a lot of other ships. And secondly, the Scharnhorst has no chance of torpedoing him as long as he is sailing away. But there seems to be an island in the way, which wasn't exactly as planned, and this could be troublesome. Now he is sort of a sitting duck for the Scharnhorst's torpedoes. And yeah, his own launcher is not reloaded yet, although pretty soon. And more enemies have arrived. Now that he had to slow down, the enemy is caught up, and there are now 3 enemies to fight. But there are still some friendlies around here. Now torpedoes are in the water. I suspect the enemy Scharnhorst will launch as well, considering how he is turning. So let's hope that the enemy Scharnhorst screws up her torpedo launch. Those torpedoes look nicely, but I'm not sure if they are needed. Well, I think they did manage to finish off. So now there is a Fiji and a destroyer in the smoke. And unfortunately the Fiji is spotting for the destroyer, but it's a Fiji. So she should be able to deal with her rather fast. You have to be careful though, there are probably also torpedoes from the Fiji in the water. And now that the Fiji has used smoke, there is nobody left to spot. Well, Gertzki left her smoke, but he is now outside of 8 kilometers, so he is safe. And that's also an advantage from the cyclone, right? It's pretty easy to be outside of the range of a smoke screen, which means the smoke screen in itself isn't that useful. But now the enemies are capped, and that is a problem. So Desert Fox is probably trying to get back into the cap. I mean, he has plenty of time left. And he'd really rather have the smoke screen go away before he charges back in. But he might not have that luxury. Now meanwhile there is a small fight here in the north. I'm not sure how good the friendly ships will perform up there. But at least it looks like an enemy Atlanta is abandoning the battle in the North Cap for some reason and coming down here. And oh, it looks like there are 4 enemies now. Nuremberg has joined the fight. Smokes are gone, and this will be a massive brawl. Well, not exactly gone, but the smoke is no longer being used, except by the destroyer. Now he is going for the Nuremberg. The Nuremberg is obviously the more squishy target. Also the Nuremberg has torpedoes. And yep, goodbye Nuremberg. Now next up is a König. Let's hope that the König continues the tradition of sailing straight into torpedoes. That would help greatly. And yeah, König seems to be a traditionalist. So this wasn't quite enough to finish off the König. He's holding his shells to get a better angle, and that did the trick. Nicely done, Kraken unleashed, and meanwhile the Akatsuki is almost down as well. Now there are probably torpedoes in the water, but at least the Akatsuki is going down right now. And look at that, there is also an Atlanta coming in. And there are the torpedoes. Now he's focusing on the Atlanta instead of the torpedoes. Not sure how many he can dodge. He's trying to heal up a little bit, and he got his shells on the way. But the secondaries did the job. The Atlanta is down, and this leaves just one remaining enemy. Now in the north it's 1v1 right now. The friendly Congo, I'm not sure how healthy he still is. Let's go and find out. Yeah, this Congo is probably losing against the König. But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. There is almost full health König and the Pensacola remaining. Well, I think the friendly Congo will go down soon, but the friendly team should still have a points advantage. But there are still 6 minutes left to play. Now the friendly team could just wait them out, but they're probably rushing through the channel and engaging the König, and I don't see too much of an issue of the friendly team losing, considering the friendly König is very healthy. Just the Pensacola has to slow down a little bit and let the friendly König catch up. Now we jumped ahead a little bit to watch the final moments of this match. The friendly Pensacola was smart enough to wait for the König to catch up, and he is letting the friendly König take the lead. So the friendly team are now fighting 2-on-1. And well, they have 2.5 minutes, a bit more than 2.5 minutes left. Enemy König is burning. And well, considering that the enemy König is showing broadside and burning in 3 places, I have high hopes that the friendly team will manage to win this match. And yeah, he is burning quite nicely here. Now let's take a look at the results. Desert Fox 51 managed to get 2397 base experience, and he sunk 7 enemy ships. Nicely played by him. Nicely played. He earned himself Close Quarters Expert, Kraken, 2 Devastating Strikes, High Caliber and Confederate. He scored 142,000 points of damage. And yeah, it was a nice game. Desert Fox played this rather well. He realized when he had to defend, and defend he did. He used the Cyclone to his advantage and managed to sink an impressive 7 enemy ships. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I'll see you guys next time.